My name is Innowealth, and I'm a digital business and property tech consultant. And today I'm glad to be your presenter. And it is based on what I do, what I teach, and what I represent that most people call me the king of leverage. And like I said, I'm going to be showing us the most amazing solution in the entire real estate ecosystem. My favorite quote has always been, if you don't have a leverage, you will end up in the village. Extra income has no side effect. That's one of my unique quotes. Anything that can put extra money to you has no side effect. And today I am going to be showing you one of the most amazing innovations that has happened in the entire real estate ecosystem. Now hold on. You have been planning to go into real estate, but you don't know how. You are looking at when you've gathered so much money. You're looking at how to play big in the industry, or you are looking at starting up somewhere. There is an innovation, just the same thing that happened in the transportation industry far back 2009, in the inception of Uber and the bold kind of transport system, using a technologically driven system to bridge the gap between riders and passengers. That is what has happened in the entire real estate ecosystem through a system called Shelter. And I am privileged, excited to be the one discussing with you and sharing this unique value proposition to your understanding. I want you to pay attention. The reason is because if you are a business person, this is something that can help you get consistent residual income. If you are a realtor, that's a real estate consultant already in the space, you have been losing money, and I want to show you the best way you can make 10 times more than what you have made so far put together in your real estate journey or career. If you are a property manager, superb. You have been sitting on oil money that you have refused to notice that you can be making a consistent inflow by leveraging what you have or the asset you have and make more money while having more time to do other things that you truly love. Now, this is how I make money. Since this system came, I discovered that anybody can play in the real estate space. Now, what you will do for me is simple. I want you to ban all distraction now, because any line you miss might be the miracle element you have been praying for. This is an eye-opener. That is why I want you to listen. But first of all, I want you to see things from this perspective. Do you know that over 85% of Nigerians live in rented apartments? This is a big market already before we proceed to other African countries. The value proposition of how I make 2% of all those paying rent year in, year out, not once, so consistently as people are paying rent, I am making 2%. That is what I want to show you. That's why you need to listen. The innovation behind it is that right now, the major problem of real estate is what is about to be solved. That is why I am calling it a problem, because almost everybody has felt the impact of this problem. In fact, the entire real estate ecosystem is not complete if this problem is not solved. And that is why most property owners, as we know them as landlords in our side here, are suffering. They are suffering because they don't know how to go about the challenge. That is why, because of how much money they are losing in that angle of real estate, they are also losing interest in building tenantable apartments. Do you know that right now, with what Shelter has brought to the table, you can now get guaranteed rent at every due date? No stories. In fact, that's the contract we are signing with Shelter. Now, this is what I want to tell you. The highest problem when it comes to real estate, where other industry players like most of these new property developing firms come into play, they are trying to run from the problem rather than solving it. What is the problem? Property owners, landlords, find it difficult to get their money as at the due date from their tenants. It's always a challenge. In fact, just like I said earlier, that over 85% of Nigerians are living in rented apartments. Out of those numbers, Do you know that 80% of those numbers default at every due date, including you and I? There was a time you would have defaulted in rent payments. Not because you intend to default, but because the economy of the state is a little bit not organized or tailored to solve the problems you are facing, or you have other challenging priorities that are equal in terms of priority, just the way your rent is. First of all, rent is not an emergency. You kind of wonder why people lose out on paying rent. It's not because they don't want to. For example, do you know that your rent of 800,000 naira, if you divide it by 365 days, your rent of 800,000 is not even up to 5,000. It's not up to 3,000, not even up to 25. It's around 2,200 naira approximately. Oh. You get that? So it means that you not being able to meet up on paying rent is an issue on its own that does not have to do with you being able to pay. It is the aspect of the fact that you are not able to plan well. That's the major challenge. That is why I want you to pay attention in the next slide, because Shelter has brought a solution that will change your perspective, that will give you the tailor-made solutions to make sure you are able to pay your rent without the pressure that comes with rent payment. And now, landlords can get guaranteed rent at every due date, no stories. Apart from that, get something called rent harmonization, which you can get your entire rental value in bulk, the entire rent value of your property in bulk, and you go home with it smiling while the tenants are paying flexibly. Then people doing business in this sector of real estate can be able to be earning consistent commission year in, year out. So listen carefully while I take you to the solution that Shelter has brought. I'm going to be dividing this discussion into three major parts because of how it is important to us to note who are our users when it comes to Shelter. We have user one, the tenant. So you can be able to come into Shelter, subscribe and be a user and benefit from and get the benefit as a tenant. You can subscribe as a user with us and get the benefit as a landlord, and subscribe also to be a smart associate that is a partner with us and get the benefit as a business person or an estate consultant, a property tech consultant, anyhow you want to put it. But know that in these three categories, that is what I'm going to base this presentation into, discussing to you the company, the product or services we offer to bring this solution to you, and the business plan that houses everything, put it up together. Now, note that before I go into the definition of what Shelter is, to give you more clarity, I told you I'm going to divide this segment into three, but I just want you to know something quickly. Based on the three users kind of category we have in Shelter: user one, the tenant; user two, the landlord; user three, the business person. So now, Shelter, first of all, what is Shelter? So Shelter is a property tech startup founded to solve the common problem that exists between property owners, property users, and their facilities. We provide guaranteed rent to landlords and flexible rent payments to tenants. Shelter takes away the friction between landlord and tenant relationship through our rent financing and property management solutions. What we do is simply to stand as pressure absorbers and risk takers for landlord with our guaranteed rent and property management services, while providing tenant solution that helps them pay their rent consistently and conveniently. Our vision is to make living sustainable, affordable, accessible, peaceful, and rewarding for all. Our mission is simple: we want to help you win while you are yet living. So now, what we do here is we maintain properties through our efficient and proficient management system, thereby maintaining the property year in, year out, which in turn improves the value of the property over time. Like I told you about the problem, let me tell you something quickly. There are three categories of people that are here. Number one is either you are living in a rented apartment, that you are paying rent, maybe paying for yourself or someone is helping you pay, or you are the owner of a property that demands the benefit of guaranteed rent system or rent harmonization, or you know either of these person. Sorry. So, or you know either of these persons. So you know someone who is a tenant, you have a friend, you have, based on your influence, your circle of influence, you know someone who is a tenant, or you know someone who is a landlord or property owner. You can do business with them by making money through their rent payment system or their property management system. So now, if you are within these three categories of person, the problem is landlords are losing money because tenants are failing to pay on due dates. So rent default, flexible rent payment system that is not there. You can imagine tenants earn monthly and are required to pay annually. That is what we find out. It's not because the tenant, most of them are unwilling to pay, but because they earn monthly and they are supposed to pay in bulk. That is where the challenge is. So gathering the money to pay in bulk, there's one funny experience I had with one of the tenants I was discussing with. He said that how will he gather the whole of the money and go and pay? Most of the time, it is when he's expecting one or two big alert from a contract he did. That's when he want to use that to handle the rent. So he doesn't see 100,000 naira and see his rent inside the 100,000 naira he makes. It's too small because his rent was around 1,500,000. So anytime you have 100,000, I use it to solve the immediate needs and forget that rent can come out of there because there is no proper plan. So he knows that maybe when he receives money, when he receives, so he knows that maybe when he receives money in bulk, that's when he can handle it. So otherwise, he will have to maybe be saving small from his salary. And when he saved, there was a time he explained to me, Omo, there was a time I managed saving, save close to when I was supposed to make payment. I had some serious emergency. My child was sick and stuff like that, so he had to use the money. And the landlord was now feeling like he doesn't want to pay. So, but you see how the system is. So we're going to tell you the kind of solutions that we have been able to provide using Shelter to bridge this gap and give you a guaranteed system of payment that we have. So what is the solution? Flexible rent payment for tenants and guaranteed rent for landlord. That is the solution. So our system provides landlord guaranteed rent, provide tenant flexible rent payment, and even gives landlord further litigation cover. So because of the way our system is organized, we know that zero landlord litigation cover due to rent default can be achieved at a long run doing business with us. That is, to properties, we are the ones providing the tenant because of our partnership with other brands like the credit bureau. We run a check and due diligence on any tenant that want to rent a property through our property, through the properties we manage, so that they are able to be vetted and we know the right people that are willing and capable to handle any property. So any property we put in clients or any tenant we give our properties to, of course, apart from every other benefit he gets to enjoy, we are able to know that this one is capable to pay. So the landlord doesn't bother whether or not he's able to pay because we give him guarantee system. If it demands us taking the person to court by virtue of the person defaulting or anything it demands, we will handle it without the landlord getting to come to start paying for litigation and all of that. So we handle litigation cover as well. Our market validation, like I said, is over 85% of people are living in a rented apartment, and out of those numbers, 80% default at every due date. And because of that, we notice that over 70% of court cases right now are between landlord and tenant. So why you need to take serious what this segment or this this market validation is telling you now is for you to be able to know that there is a business, there is a problem, and we are ready to solve it. So our focus is on two major markets, the single customers and also the corporate customers. So these are the guys, these are the partners behind Shelter. So Shelter is not just Shelter because we are providing just the solution alone, but because of the partners that are providing equity, funding, expertise, depending on their angle of partnership. So we have the mainstream, the credit bureau, the squad group in partnership with GTB and financials, and a whole lot of other bodies that wouldn't want their face to appear publicly on the slide. So who are the key people manning the management of the system? We have they have over 40 years combined experience, ranging from the CEO, Mr. Austin Igwe, Barrister Ehemen, the head of legal, Mr. Stanley Odum, the COO, the Peter Eje, who is the facility management head, and also Mr. Shafere Genetega, who is the head of smart and sales in the system. So these guys are the pioneering management team of Shelter. And like I said earlier, I don't know if you heard me, Shelter has been in existence since 2019, started full operation 2020. We have done business consistently for more than 3 years. The reason you've not heard about us is because of the products that we just launched earlier, not quite long, which is last year, which is the Smart. We have been doing business rigorously in the streets, trying to grow from bottom to top and test run the idea and innovation. That's why you've not heard us. So we'll be managing properties, sending our marketers to go on the streets to get in landlord on board them. But after a phase of trying the system and knowing it can work, of course, we did our 3 years anniversary last year, and in that anniversary we're able to give the best tenant of the year about ₦1 million gifts, and also the best landlord of the year was given property management services free for 1 year of one of his properties. So you can see that people are already growing through the system, getting excited. You can go online and check the videos. You see excited landlords and tenants who have experience with us, and we are ready to fly. So this particular slide, I want to be explaining to you the products and services that makes what we do work. Now, our property management service solution, our rent financing solution, our safe product which comes with Gap Finance, our swap, our smart, the switch, the smart FM, smart IO, and a whole lot of others. The Own It system, the Shelter Academy, the Shelter Cooperative, and some that are even not on this slide. But let's take from rent finance. Now, I will want to explain the Gap Finance before I come to rent finance, so to give you an understanding. Every user, like I said, we had three categories of users in our system. User 1 is the tenant, user 2 is the landlord, user 3 is a smart associate. I will explain that in jiffy. So who can use the SAFE? The SAFE is a product by virtue of our integration and partnership with GT Bank. Every user in our platform has the opportunity to have an automated bank account with GT Bank without getting to pay for it, coming with your name just like your normal bank account. The difference is that you don't have an ATM on this account. It works just the way your fixed deposit account works. It's like you are putting in money for something and you're not getting it out within a period of time. So we call this account a project account. You use this account specifically to handle every of your real estate related project or real estate required needs. So now understand very well so you get a picture clearly. So when you get this account, you use it, you can only get out the money you put in this account 3 months plus. So it means that if your rent is supposed to be due from 3 months and above, you can use SAFE to achieve it. This is one of our flexible payment method. So now you get a SAFE account and you start saving small for your rent. By virtue of our integration with GTB Bank, it produces for you a kind of rating anytime that account gets a credit alert. So now understand the picture very well. You know, I was talking to someone and the person was like, what if you started paying small, a tenant? He said, what if you started paying small and Shelter now run away with your money? You find out that the account you're even using to do the flexible rent payment system is even your account, the account in your name. So this account is wired in a way that anytime you put a credit alert on that account, it triggers a rating that we see from our back end as PI. We are able to generate a PI for you, a performance index for you. That PI is gotten by the consistency of how you are crediting that account. So our willingness, we are able to get your willingness and capacity to pay by virtue of how your mood of payment, which you can decide by yourself. So now in this save, you are saving small, and in the third month, that's from 3 months and above, when your rent is supposed to be due, you would have saved some amount of money. So by virtue of those ratings, if you have been able to get 30% PI and above, you are qualified for something called gap finance. So now that is where you get it. Means that you have been able to save and your rent is due and you have gotten more than 30% PI. Shelter can complete the money and you press and you authorize the money to be paid to your landlord to handle your rent, because we have promised your landlord guaranteed rent already. So at that due date, we gap finance whatsoever you have been able to save in that amount that is up to from 30% and above. So but this is how it's designed, so you don't get it wrongly. If you are able to save from that save account from 60% below to 30%, we gap finance you. Whatsoever amount we use in completing your rent, you are going to give us back with a charge using the same flexible payment method with a charge of 5% of the reducing balance. That is 5% of the money we added to you. Assuming your rent is ₦1,000,000 and you have done 60%, or let's say 55%, that is 550,000, and we are completing 450,000 to you. So you are paying 5% of that 450,000, not the money you have already saved. So that is what is completed to pay your rent. So if you have done from 60% below, any money we add for you, you pay 5%. But anything from 60% and above, 65%, 70%, 80% and above PI you have been able to generate in the system, you are giving any money that shelter completes for you, because you are our tenant and it is paid to your landlord. You are not paying anything on top. Automatically, this starts to shape the culture of the tradition behind people not being able to meet up the payment of their rent. So now, what if you are able to get your money by using this flexible payment method? You are able to save and you got 100% at that due date when your rent is supposed to be, when the money is supposed to be sent to your landlord. It means that not only will you, since you didn't get money extra coming from us, what you will enjoy is a discount of 5% of your rent. Like I mentioned, assuming your rent is ₦1,000,000 and you were able to do 100% PI by the due date or before the due date of your rent, that is congratulations to you. You are getting a 5% discount. It means you will pay your landlord ₦1,000,000. So it means your rent for that year is 950. So you have saved up 50,000 naira to continue for the next year pay. So flexible payment system becomes unique on this style. That is a unique system. So we are shaping the culture. It's only in Nigeria where a lecturer gives an assignment to a student on Friday to submit on Monday. The student waits till Monday. That's when he's doing the assignment. So it's a cultural issue. So a tenant is owing rent. He's waiting. He doesn't know. It is 3 or 2 months to the expiration of his rent. That's when he now remember, I need to pay, and start running helter-skelter. So that pressure is removed by using our safe method. So, but apart from this safe solution, this particular product, there is another product called the rent finance, which is the first one. This particular one was designed for people who have cases that look like emergency. I said this one works, the safe works only when your rent is supposed to be due from 3 months upward. But this particular rent finance is for emergency. Let's say your rent is supposed to be due in 72 hours time down to 2 months, and there is nothing you can do. So we actually did this product just to help those properties, especially those persons who are not managing their properties. So you don't read, matter don't cast, you understand? So you are on a verge. The property owner has said you need to quit the apartment because you don't have money to pay. Normally, before shelter, or if there is no shelter, what would you do? You will go and look for a loan and be able to pay, then pay the person back interest. So it is the same system that works in this our rent finance. So we are able to rent finance you on and get charges like interest on the money, depending on the flexible payment method you choose, either biannual, monthly, depending on that. So we have extra charges attached to it, which will be made known to you, attached to it. That you now pay back. So Shelter run a credit check on you, know that you are capable and willing to pay, and we rent finance you. Then you pay back with charges on top. This one is for emergency. But guess what? Anything we are giving you cannot be compared to any loan company that is offering you loan or borrowing you money. So you get that. So in our system, we've got you covered. So the swap product, I'm just trying to explain the product. Imagine we have done so much just explaining 2 or 3. So swap, there's a product called swap in our system. I want to give you, I may not be able to explain all, but let me quickly give you this and this other one. Swap. Assuming you've made your payment, let's say you are living in Port Harcourt and you've paid your rent upfront, let's say a year, and you have just done 2 months. Maybe your company gives you an offer letter to relocate you to a new city, or you got an offer in another city and you need to move. You need to relocate. You have already paid your rent. Normally, what will you do? On a normal case scenario where there is no shelter, what you do is maybe you call your guy who is an agent. Bro, help me rent out this apartment. Let me be able to recoup some money. I need to change the city, or I need to relocate. The guy said, okay, I will help you look for someone. He looks for someone. At the end of the day, let's say plus story minus, maybe within a month or 2, he was able to get someone. So if the landlord is even sincere enough or is not angry, because that is illegal, it's like you are subletting your apartment without his knowledge, but you have to do it. But let's assume that scale through and you are able to get some money back. So it means you are going into that new city, let's say Lagos, to start looking for an apartment. You look for an apartment, you engage the services of an agent, you start paying from inspection fee, agency fee, agreement fee, before maybe caution deposit or refundable security deposit. You now pay your rent, which cannot be lower than a minimum of 1 year, and all those things. So the pressure that comes with looking for an apartment is just daring. Shelter says you don't need to always or constantly reinvent the wheel. There is no need for all this pressure. Just like the Bible says, be anxious for nothing. So now this is where Shelter killed it with this system or this product called swap. If you are living in a Shelter managed apartment, all you need to do is to go to use the platform, go to the location where you need the property, maybe in Lagos, and look for any other Shelter managed apartment that is vacant in that location you are going to. If you are able to find one in the system, you just apply swap. What you would have done is that you have swapped your rent in Port Harcourt to Lagos. You just pack your bags and go to Lagos and continue your rent you have already paid in Port Harcourt in Lagos. That is amazing. Without getting to pay the inspection fee or the payment, you just continue. For cases where the property in Lagos where you are moving to is higher in terms of budget than your property in Port Harcourt, you just pay the difference without getting to pay the entire system again. So that is amazing. So that is what this product swap looks like. You can swap within cities, you can swap outside cities, you can swap any location. Maybe you are living in a 1-bedroom and you got married, you need 3-bedroom and you've already paid upfront. You just swap. So that's the idea. So now this other product called Switch. Switch is a payment option. It's like a button. You can be able to change from biannual payment system to quarterly to monthly, depending on what you want. Like someone was making me laugh over here because I was explaining it. I put some level of humor in between. Now this is what I said. Assuming you were doing daily payment or weekly, maybe you have a shop, you are selling out of your shop, you are able to be using that to save, using your safe rather. I was explaining the safe to the person. So you are saving small in this account, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, it is where your shop is. That's where this past governor Wike now decide to do a flyover in your shop, and for some reason your shop was demolished, and you wake up into a new day without getting to continue or meet up with the payment plan you have choose, which was supposed to be weekly. that affected you. You can quickly go to switch and change your payment system. It means you are no longer receiving money in that pattern. So you can switch to monthly, you can switch to quarterly, you can switch to biannual. We are trying to give you the convenience you deserve. So there's a smart guarantor where you can guarantee someone and earn 5% of what you are guaranteeing the person with. There's Smart FM. Smart FM and Smart IO is the benefit that I will explain at the later part of this video for people who are becoming smart associates. These Smart FM and Smart IO are people that are trained, smart associates that are trained in the Shelter Academy to become a verified inspection officer and make money from the system. You are able to inspect apartment and you make money. Then Smart FM is a facility manager. You are trained and certified as a facility manager. The buildings within your region, your location, Shelter can zone them to you, and you are like the eye of Shelter in those apartments, and you get paid managing apartment or co-managing apartment with Shelter. So there's Shelter Cooperative, there's Shelter Own It, where you can team up to own a house. Now, from this explanation and all our product, Shelter is not just managing property alone. You can do sales, you can do some other real estate aspect in this system, but I'm quickly trying to hurry up so you can be able to understand the core concept or value proposition of what Shelter is. So these are the product that is used to ensure the guarantee rent system that Shelter gives to landlord, rent harmonization where you can get your entire rent in bulk, and also litigation cover we provide, plus the flexible payment that the tenants also enjoy. I'm glad you're already listening from here. So what is our competitive advantage? We are first to hit the market. We are data driven. Our facility management is top notch. We list our properties once. Our stakeholders incentive, our agents, smart associates, developers, vendors, etc. Then we protect our investors' data very well. We are big on protection. That it means that if you are a property owner and you don't want anyone to know that this is your property, we protect your data. We don't publicize anything that you don't want to see outside. So we can work with you on that. How does it work? You register or on board, get verified, get your property uploaded. We verify properly because we don't want a situation where you are giving us a property and after we have paid you or by doing business with you, another person now comes to tell us you are not the one that is the owner of the property. So our partners in most of our top brand partners help us do a proper verification check on this person to be sure that we are dealing with the right person. So we upload the property, tenants or Shelter pays, and landlord get paid. That is how swift our business is. This part I have explained is to give you the concept of what we run. These are samples of the agreement that we've been able to sign with some of the landlords, just a few to aid the presentation. So now our goal is to hit the whole of Africa, starting from Nigeria. So, and we are currently covering 36 states of Nigeria, including FCT. So it means we can do business anywhere in Nigeria as at today. So that is the part that has to do with the value proposition of Shelter. The next part, I'm going to explain the business aspect of it. I want you to pay attention to this because this is where the residual income flow is. So where I have explained gives you the picture of how it works, but there is a business plan to it that you can enjoy. Who is a smart associate? I left that smart to explain it here because smart has a little bit more detail for your personal benefits than it is that you understand. So now, who is a smart associate? A smart associate is a person who shares earning for being a part of Shelter's transaction by recommending Shelter services to potential clients and users. Example, the landlord, the tenant, other associate organization, cooperative, etc. And also enjoy all the benefit of being a Shelter user. Now, like I was saying, how do you come on board as a landlord? For now, there is an ongoing promo. Landlord can bring their properties and get onboarded in our system for our property management services for free for now. 0 naira, 0 cost. But the tenants can be able to pick a flexible payment plan with 10,000 naira through us. At Shelter, I want to pay my rent through you so that landlord don't get to disturb me, because this has been able to create that divide, build back the landlord-tenant relationship, back to trust again. So you can now greet your landlord very well, knowing that he's not calling you to disturb you for rent. There is a system that is guaranteeing him rent and also giving you that flexible rent payment. So landlord get onboarded 0 naira for now. Tenant get onboarded or pick a flexible payment plan with just 10,000 naira. And smart associates who are doing business with us get a yearly subscription of 20,000 naira. So you can register now, get verified, and become a smart associate with us for just 20,000 naira. Now, notice the difference. If you come in as a smart associate, you get to enjoy the benefit of everybody here. But if you came in as a tenant, you can only get the benefit as a tenant. So my advice for you is come in as a smart associate, where you can have access to the entire benefit of the business or shelter ecosystem. Now I will tell you why in the following slide. Just keep tabs. Now, how do you earn as a smart associate? Number one, first of all, it costs you 20,000 naira to get verified as a smart associate with Shelter. Now, you know that in any shelter managed property, there is nothing like agency fee. There is nothing like drinking money. There is nothing like inspection fee. There is nothing like legal or agreement fee. All those pay is totally removed. And now, it now looks like we are doing this business to target the agents in business, or the property, or the lawyers in business. So this is why we open up this product called Smart Associate, whereby normally as an agent, you earn once when you bring a client to a house or you bring a client to buy a property. You just earn once from a transaction. But our system is designed in a way that you continue earning as people continue paying their rent. Have you ever rented a house as an agent, and the tenant say, the house you give me is so good, 1 year later he call you to take food or take some extra cash? No, it doesn't work that way. But our system can guarantee you consistent earning. Now listen and notice how it works. First of all, as a verified smart associate, you are the only one with the dashboard to onboard a landlord for free for now. So when you onboard a landlord gets onboarded into the system. Now we manage the property. Our property management fee is 10%. That's what we give the landlord. So landlord get onboarded and we manage their property. At the due date when they are supposed to receive money, when we pay them, we remove our 10% for the property management fee as Shelter. So from this 10%, you, that smart associate that connected us to this landlord, or that onboarded the landlord to us, connected Shelter to landlord or connected the landlord to Shelter, you are getting 2% of this particular rental value of this landlord. If the landlord is getting his money in bulk, you are getting 2% entire payment. If he's getting it on different due date as regards the tenant, you are still getting 2%. 2% of each of the tenant is equal to 2% of the entire rental value of this man's property. Guess what? You can only onboard a property owner or a landlord once. If you onboard a landlord, let's say in Port Harcourt here, and that landlord has other properties in Lagos, Abuja, or any other state, another smart associate cannot onboard that person again in Lagos or Abuja. If that man factor his other properties in other states into Shelter, you earn 2% across every of his property consistently year in, year out. Guess what? The minimum contract a landlord can sign to do business with Shelter is 3 years. They can sign 5, 10, 15 and above. But do you know that no matter how beautiful a solution is, some persons may be skeptical about it. They just want to test the system and see how it works. So by doing so, maybe we allow them to pick the lowest duration, which is 3 years, so that they can be able to observe our management system as against what they have experienced before. So now in 1 year, at the end of the due date, you get paid, which is what your contract states, because they are signing a contract with us. That's how it is. At the end of the day, you get paid. First year, you observe. Second year, you observe. Third year, you should be able to have gathered enough fact to know whether you want to increase your contract duration or not. You can terminate the contract if you don't want to continue. It means that as a smart associate, you are earning 2% from that particular property for the next 3 years non-stop. That is big. So your first benefit of being a Shelter Smart Associate is you make 2% from all the entire properties you onboard into the system. The picture, the market is still very big. You can take advantage of this. Now, you can also earn 40% from the subscription of the people. Now, from you as a verified associate, you can use your link to sign up other agents, other business persons, other people that are coming into the system as smart associate. They can only come through your system. So if you onboard someone and he verify, of course, remember you pay 20,000 to get verified as a smart associate. So when you share your link to your colleagues, they also get verified, pay the same 20,000 to Shelter to get verified as smart associate. While they are yet paying the 20,000 naira, automatically you get 40% of that subscription fee of 20,000 naira. 40% of 20k is 8k. Shelter is not paying you. This particular payment is more like a mobilization to go and do your work, so that you can be able to have airtime to maybe contact your landlord and get them to know about Shelter and all of that. So you are making 8,000 upon any smart associate you get on board. Now do the maths. Imagine you have 10 people that use your link to register and get verified as smart associate. You have just made 80k. If you did that in 1 week, you have made 80k in 1 week. If you did that in 1 month, you have made 80k in 1 month. So imagine the math. If you are able to get 100 smart associates to get onboarded in Shelter through your link, you have just done 800,000. Can you imagine the math? Just from their subscription alone. Now, there is another earning called business earning or business volume earning, anyhow you put it. You are making 20% from everything the smart associate that came on board through you, whatsoever he makes. Now, let me explain this. If, of course, you are making 2% when you onboard your personal landlord. The person that got verified through your link, he also has his own network of people or his influence that he onboard his landlord, and he's making his own 2%. So any 2% he's making from his cash wallet, any money he makes from his cash wallet, you are making 20% of that money, because Shelter knows this smart associate through you. So you are making 20% of all the earning he gets from his cash wallet. That is amazing. This is just the benefit on commissions and incentives only. So there are other benefits. Like I said, we might not be able to cover everything in one presentation, but when you get on board, you discover that this is just everything I've explained about Shelter is just 20% of what they truly do. So this is not up to 30% of what you get to experience in Shelter. And if this business, if what I've explained already is beautiful enough, you can get started right away. I will be the one to work with you until you get that success or those benefits that have been explained in the video. So we did a simulation here, assuming you are in a city like Abuja and you are able to onboard by virtue of doing business with us. You are able to onboard through you. We have over 400 units onboarded. Now, 400 units is different from 400 properties. A property can have more than 1, 2, 3, 10 units. So let's assume you are able to get 400 units. In Abuja, 1 bedroom, average amount for 1 bedroom is around 1.5 million. It means there are some properties that are lesser, there are some that are higher. But let's assume it's 1.5. You will be getting 6 million naira as cash wallet and another 6 million naira as point wallet in our payment system in your dashboard. When you get an earning, the earning is divided into 2 wallets. There are 2 wallets. One counts for incentive. We want a situation where we are able to help you build the goals you require. So if you are able to get 20 points, you qualify for a particular incentive. So from this incentive, you are able to build towards getting your goals achieved. To get a new phone, to get a laptop, to get a car, to get a landed property, to get even a completely furnished home. So from our system. So it means that let's assume you are able to get 400 units. In 400 units, you are making 6 million as cash wallet and 6 million as point, which if you don't want the point, you can still convert it to your cash. It means your total earning of 2% is giving you 12 million naira for having 400 units of apartment that is about 1.5 million naira each. So the same thing in Lagos, 900, Kaduna, 240, that's just a simulation. We are just assuming. So let's assume that you were not able to meet up with that, and you just, out of the 400, you are able to get 40%. That is still a beautiful deal. Then aside from that, there is another simulation we did here. Imagine you are able to do, you have 40 smart associates or 400 smart associates who are making 1.5 million naira every year throughout the year. Like the people that got onboarded under you that are smart associates, they onboard their landlord, and what they made in the whole year is 1.5 million naira. You are the one that onboarded that smart associate, so it means you are doing 20% of his 1.5 million naira, which is 300,000. 300,000 naira times 40 persons, not even the 400, times 40 persons will give you 12 million naira every year. This is massive. The system is massive. So I want you to come on board on this system. This is just a simulation. You can do more. These are the incentives ranging from a headset, a phone, HMO for a family of 4, a travel trip, a small car, a big car, a home. So this side is our business plan. Anytime you earn 1,000 naira, it credits you 1 point. If you earn 1,000 naira, it means that you earn a particular amount. Whatsoever you earn gives you a point. So now let me explain so that you get clarity, because some persons get a bit confused with this. Let's say you earn money 2% from a landlord you got onboarded. 1% goes to your cash wallet, 1% go to your point wallet, incentive wallet. So if it is 1,000 naira, if it is 2,000 naira you earn, 1,000 go to cash, 1,000 go to point. So 1 point is equal to 1,000 naira. That's the idea. So 10 points is equals to 10,000 naira. So any money you earn is splitted into 2 for this wallet and this wallet. If you don't want it, you can carry it back to cash and withdraw it straight to your account, because your account is plugged into the system by integration. So you just send it to your bank or send it to your safe wallet. You have different wallets that you can send money to. So when you have been able to earn up to 20,000 naira, automatically means you have gotten 20 points. You have qualified for the headset. If you have been able to get 100,000 naira, it means you have gotten 100 points. You have qualified for HMO. If you have been able to get 500,000 points, it means 500,000 naira. It means you have gotten 500 points, which you have qualified for a phone. The next one is laptop, a training trip, landed property, a car, an SUV car, a funded property. That is how it is designed. So all these things are achieved. Guess what? There is no cap to what you can earn in the system. There is other benefit I did not explain when I said I would talk about. None. This smart associate gives you the privilege to get trained and certified as an FM or an IO. This one, you make money if you are able to if you are able to inspect a unit of flat. A unit of flat ranges from 4,000 to 10,000 depending on the property size or the property location. So now, if this property you inspected, let's assume is 10,000, and as a smart IO, you are able to inspect 100 units of flat in a month. It means like you are taking this as a job. So you're just the way Uber guys receive notification to get a ride. That's how you receive notification from our system to get an IO. To get an inspection job. So you get inspection throughout the location where you are conversant with. So when a property is to be onboarded, you are the one that send. That's what you do. So each property you onboard, you get between 4 to 10,000. So let's assume 10 properties, 10,000, 10 times 100. So that's about 100k in a month. So 100 properties, that's about 10 times 100. That's a million naira. So you can comfortably make millions using the system as a trained certified IO, which comes for free for now just by signing up or getting onboarded as a smart associate. Those are further benefits for being a smart associate. So the benefit of being a shelter user, there is 0% agency fee, 0% agreement fee, 0 inspection fee, rent harmonization, guaranteed rent system, free litigation cover, pay your rent flexibly, own a property through us by co-owning it, investing in shelter cooperative, and from there a lot of benefit for being a user in the system. This is amazing. Remember, these are a few persons who have qualified for the incentive that you have been able to listen to. So those persons who have qualified for for headset, you can see me there. I have also qualified for a Shelter smart box as well as a headset and a whole lot of others. So this is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for listening. We have shoot more and more time trying to give you clarity and explanation. Thank you for listening. I really want to see you in the other side. Click any of the link you see either above or below. Let us work with you and answer your questions and get you started. Register right away. Let us build together. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.